start off today by doing a little body scan. A lot of times I'll tell you to be mindful of your body, but then we don't really go through an exercise to make that happen for you. So literally starting all the way at the ground, at the bottoms of your feet, check in literally with your toes, with the soles of your feet, your whole foot, and then slowly work your way up through your body. And what we're looking for right now is spots that feel cranky, spots that feel awesome. You know, did I do a little too much yard work over the weekend? Did I go swimming and I'm just like creaky? Take notice of those spots. So especially if you were inactive or doing different types of activities over the winter, and then you jump into the summer fun, it can hit hard. And then there can be little surprises. So just check in with your body. Now I'm going up through my calves, through my thighs, and I could do a little wiggle as I do it, like, oh, yep, there's a sore spot right here. And maybe bending a little bit, just checking in to see exactly where that's happening. Okay, all right, so working up through my body a little bit more. Maybe stretching and wiggling a little bit as I come up through my torso, into my shoulders. Maybe I check in with my hands. And your neck. So we're taking a quick inventory of all the usual suspects, but also keeping an eye out for new creaky parts. And now we're going to take just a few seconds to do something for one of your body parts. So if you noticed that your calves were really tight, doing a calf stretch, or your shoulders are really tight, taking care of those shoulders in a way that's good for you typically. So I'm going to take one moment to do that. I will tell you this is a primarily lower body movement break today. So if you're choosing between the top and the bottom half, take a moment for yourself to do the top, and we might hit the bottom half as we go through here. So for me, that's going to be a nice little neck stretch. And I'll do the other side. And whenever you're ready, come on out of your stretch that you were just doing, and we're going to do a little bit of marching in place. So just getting our bodies warmed up a little bit so that we can stretch a little bit more safely. When you're stretching, it's usually a good idea to get warmed up a little bit first. And warmed up doesn't necessarily mean, oh my God, I'm dying, it's a hot day. It does mean moving, lubricating through your joints and your muscles, right? You've got fascia coating each of the muscles. We want that fascia to be sliding nicely. So that's part of the reason why we like to warm up. Come do your marches with your knees out to the side now. It looks really weird. Good for us, I swear. So we're just going side to side and now reaching across your body. We're getting in a little bit of range of motion. I'm aiming for my right hand with my left knee and vice versa. Not necessarily hitting it all the time, but that's what we're aiming for. All right, beautiful. So you can leave your feet on the ground here. We're going to do some calf raises. As you come up and down for your calf raises, try and keep that second and third toe directly underneath the ankle, directly underneath the knee. A lot of times there's a tendency to flare out. We want to keep it in line. So going up and down, just a few times here. Little gift of movement to our body. Also gives us an additional chance to check in with our ankles, muscles under your feet, with your calves. You might feel it all the way up the posterior chain there. That's okay. Things are working and moving and growing. One more here, and then just hold it at the top if you're able to. If you want something to hold on to, that's also great. Always be safe, always have a backup plan. I've got my wall here. I've also got my stool here, so I've got some choices. Nice, and come on down. We're gonna start off with a calf stretch. So I think I'm gonna need to angle you guys down a little bit here. My head will probably be cut off for most of the day. And I'm gonna put my hands on a firm surface here. You could use a desk, you could use a wall, whatever is handy. Right foot forward, left foot back, and I'm just relaxing into that left leg there so that the heel is on the ground. And then from here, I can drop my hips closer to the ground to increase the stretch or push back to take a little bit of that intensity off. Wherever it feels good, I'm going to hang out here for just a few seconds. I can rock side to side slightly to find some sweet spots. Where I can stay put. If this doesn't feel great, it feels like, well, maybe that's too intense, you might want to work in and out of it a couple of times before finding that sweet spot where it feels good. You don't want it to be so intense of a stretch that it's uncomfortable. Nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bend my left leg. So that leg going back, I'm bending at the knee. This pushes the stretch a little lower into the soleus muscle. And you can even do this one standing up, right? I can come into this position here, finding that spot that it works, it feels good. Sometimes this position is a little bit too much and you're not able to get a good bend through your knee. We want to keep the heel on the ground. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and switch sides. So now I'm bringing my right leg back, my left leg forward, and I'm finding that spot with my right leg straight now, where I'm able to get a really good calf stretch. You can, as I was saying, work in and out of it a few times. We had such a mini warm up that it might be that this isn't all the way taken care of for you yet. Needs a little bit more love. That's okay. You can rock side to side, finding some good angles here. And you may find that as you hang out here for a moment, you're able to drop in a little bit deeper. So if you do that, if you hang out here for a couple of seconds, and then you find, oh, I can go a little bit further, go for it. Explore that new range of motion and enjoy it. And then when you're ready, come out of the stretch a little bit more and bend to that right leg, the right knee, so that you're able to hit that lower leg at a different angle. We've got gastrocnemius in there and soleus, and this hits soleus a little bit more. And it's nice to give everybody some love. Beautiful. All right, let's come on out of that. We're going to do an outer hip stretch next. So I'm going to stand facing you so it's easiest to see. But if you have a wall or a desk handy that you're going to use, stand with your right side to that wall. So my right hand is on the wall. My right leg is close to the wall. And then my outside leg is going to be a leg that crosses over here. And from there, I'm going to lean away from the wall with my hips. So there's like this bow, my head's coming towards the wall. This should give you a nice stretch on the outside of the left hip or the hip away from the wall. And you can also play with the angles a little bit, drawing your hips back in space slightly, bringing them forward in space slightly. Back and forth, leaning on your wall, using that for support there, or your desk. Hopefully breathing into it as well. Hopefully this feels lovely. Nice. All right, so now we're going to do the other side, which means I'm going to position my other side to the wall. In my case, that just means putting up my left hand, but you might have to turn around. So now I've got my left side facing the wall, left hand on the wall, left foot near the wall, right foot comes over, crosses in front, and we're leaning on that wall to tip the hip out and get a nice stretch through the outside of the right hip now. So I've got this line, this bow happening here. And I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can actually do it, but oh, there we go. So if I'm actually doing it, it looks like this. Here, try and put this arm in a place that isn't in your way. If you take a bigger step, it feels a little different than if you take a little step. So experiment with the size of the step that you're taking. Beautiful. All right, so now stand up nice and tall, take a few deep breaths here, take a little wiggle break if that got into some deeper parts of your body that haven't been stretched in a while. We're gonna have feet wide apart here. And I'm just gonna start rocking my hips to the left and then to the right. When I rock my hips to the right, I get a stretch in my left inner thigh and vice versa. So when I rock my hips to the left, I get a stretch in my right inner thigh. And after you go back and forth a few times, you can hang out on one side and just enjoy that stretch. If that's not enough for you, you might want to bend through your left leg to get a deeper stretch through your right side. But a lot of us can get plenty of stretch just from dropping the right hip down and lifting the left hip up. Play with the angle of your pelvis here. So tipping your tail out behind you or tucking your tail underneath is going to change that stretch as well. Let's go ahead and do the other side here. Woo, I just got a crack. All right, so now my right hip is going up, my left hip is going down. Getting a lovely left inner thigh stretch here. If you were changing the angle of the pelvis before, go ahead and do that here. Sticking your tail out, tucking it under. Nice. One last deep breath here. And then from here, bring your hips back to neutral position, your spine back to a neutral position. All we're going to do here is tip forward into a forward fold. Engage your core as you do this. And if it helps to support you, you're going to slide your hands down your thighs. If you reach the floor, great. If you don't, also great. Slide your hands down your thighs. And then, sorry, there's a dog in the way here. If it's more comfortable for you because you're not going to hit the floor and you want that support, you can also use your desk or a chair here to support yourself as well. When we're stretching, we want to feel safe enough to actually relax into it and stretch properly. That's why I'm recommending the support. If it feels good, you can go ahead and drop your head towards the floor here, relaxing through your lower back and rounding through your lower back to allow your head to drop a little bit further. And you can also rock side to side. Might feel good to hang out with your hands towards or your shoulders aimed towards your left leg for a moment. And take a really deep breath there. And then tip towards your right side, walking your hands or aiming your shoulders towards your right side. Taking a really deep breath there and then letting it go. And then whenever you're ready, come on up. And that's all, folks. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Take care.